Welcome to 21st in Prep, still the coldest corner in the NFL, sponsored by Jaguar. Let's get this party started right.
Deion, it was a tough one for your Cowboys on Monday Night Football. I know you were watching that. The newly acquired receiver, Amari Cooper, he scored a 4-yard touchdown in the first quarter, so things were starting to look good. But then it all went downhill from there. Dak Prescott, he threw a costly interception in the end zone. The Cowboys, they could not get back on track. They went on to lose 28-14 to the Titans. Good game for the Titans, though, but the Cowboys fall to 3-5. Jerry Jones says both Jason Garrett and Dak Prescott are safe. He even said on the radio this morning Prescott would get extended. Deion, though, is the season over?
The season was over before this game. I mean, over to the fact that they're not a playoff caliber team. They're not a team that's going to make some noise, even if they were to get to the playoffs. This is not the Dallas Cowboys of, it hadn't been in a while. We all know that, but I got to applaud Jerry Jones. He makes us believe that they have a shot every year, the constant marketeer. What these guys need is personnel. I'm not seeing a whole lot of guys go to the Pro Bowl. I'm not seeing a whole lot of guys that are all pro. I'm seeing a guy like Zeke with the offense on his back. Defensively, they've made some upgrades. They're doing a fantastic job, I feel. But offensively, you got some playmakers, and he paid dividends last night. But overall, if we're going to point to anything, let's forget about pointing to Jason Garrett and Dak. Let's point to whoever's accumulating the personnel. That's the problem that I have. The play calling is a little insufficient offensively, a little non-creative. But let's see who's getting the personnel. That's the problem I have. No dogs.
It's not Jason Garrett.
Dogs.
In 8 seasons, they've been to the playoffs twice. They haven't gone past the divisional round. So you're saying it is not Jason Garrett's fault? He should stay as coach.
And that's not because I played with him. It's because I know a little too much. I'm here. I got the red phone right there. I'm in my bedroom right now. The red phone is right there. I could pick it up and find out what's going on. And
the man behind the man. All right. The Battle of the Goats, Deion, that's in the books. What a good game. And let's put this debate to rest, though. Aaron Rodgers, he played very well on Sunday night, but Tom Brady was much better. The Patriots got the win, 31-17. The Pack are now 3-4-1. And Rodgers, he said after the game, there's inconsistency. We're not on the same page. Clearly primed, he is frustrated. Let's bring in Mike Garafolo to talk about this. Mike, we're always talking this time of year about coaches on the hot seat. Is there the feeling in Green Bay that Mike McCarthy could be on his way out?
You know, Amber, you get to a point sometimes where maybe it's best for both sides to move on. And I'm thinking back to Andy Reid when he was just done in Philadelphia and it got to that point. And then he goes to Kansas City and he immediately gets that success that he had in Philadelphia and he gets it in Kansas City. And boy, they're flying high right now. I almost look at maybe a situation like that could be the case for Mike McCarthy if this plays out. And Ian Rappaport, our colleague, has mentioned him as a possibility for the Browns. Who's the general manager in Cleveland? It's John Dorsey. Who was it in Kansas City when Reid went there? It's John Dorsey. Where was Dorsey before Kansas? Oh, that's right. He was in Green Bay. Prime. You see what I'm doing? I'm connecting the dots a little bit. I could see a scenario where McCarthy's out in Green Bay and winds up somewhere else and winds up finding success.
I like that scenario. I like that thought process. But I'm going to defend the man. Because we don't have a problem with the offense. They get the ball down the field. They score. Aaron Rodgers is always in position to possibly win the game if they could just stop somebody from scoring every now and then. I don't like this. Every time something happens, we're going to point fingers at the head coach. Not all the time it's the head coach. Sometimes let's point fingers at who's getting the players. Every time it seems as though Green Bay has a chance, they're letting the guy go in the offseason. They're not picking him up in free agency. I mean, real valuable players that have poured their hearts out for this organization. I think let's start right there. I'm not going to go with, whenever we have trouble, man, let's just fire everybody. That's not the solution to all problems amongst the NFL.
Deion's going after the front offices today. All right, well, the Steelers, they put it on the Ravens in Baltimore on Sunday for their 4th straight win. James Conner had yet another 100 rushing yard performance and a receiving touchdown. Life is good right now for Pittsburgh, who sits atop the AFC North. But look who's tweeting. Le'Veon Bell posted a cryptic message Monday saying, "Farewell, Miami." Now, if that means he's headed to join the Steelers after choosing to miss 9 weeks, it doesn't sound like he will receive a warm welcome. Check this out. Steelers guard David DeCastro said, quote, "Honestly, no one cares anymore. Why would I? I don't want to waste the energy. I have to block some of the best players on the best defense in the world. Do you think I'm going to worry about a guy who's not here? Ooh, not exactly a ringing endorsement. All right, Mike, we're getting pretty close to finding out one way or another what happens with Bell. What can you tell us about the timeline here and what options the Steelers have right now?
Yeah, it's easy to say that when James Conner is playing so well, and that's what these guys are basically saying without saying it. Le'Veon Bell, I can tell you, let's go over this again, has until Tuesday. If he does not sign this coming Tuesday of next week, he can't play in the NFL this season. So then he would become a free agent again, subject to the franchise tag. Tom Pelissero, our colleague, is saying that it would be a quarterback number for him, even if he doesn't play, which means in the $20 million range, which means he would eventually be free. And Prime, I'm looking at this now saying, was this the plan all along for Le'Veon Bell, to just get to free agency at a point where the Steelers couldn't tag him, even if he punts on an entire season?
But that's not good business. What we arguing about? Money, right? If we arguing about money, wouldn't you come and get your money? I don't understand, because it must be the money. When I played the game, I played to be the greatest ever, and I was. But also in the backdrop of that, I had to keep my mama retired. Mama got a lifestyle that she loves to live, and I had to keep on giving her the lifestyle. So if it was about dollars, wouldn't you have come back? Now, I understand the lineman. I understand what he says. There ain't nobody care no more. It was cute early on when they had turbulent matters early on in the season. They weren't playing as well, but now, baby, they got it. They got a back who's done some things he hadn't even done. They're moving, they're grooving, they hitting their stride, they hit their rhythm. They ain't got time for that no more. He overplayed this whole situation, and to me, he played it wrong, man. He played it wrong.
Yeah, wrong to the tune of $7.7 million. That is how much money he has forfeited by not playing through these first 9 weeks. I wish we could afford the season. Let's take a look at the playoff picture. Here's who makes it in if the season ended today. The Rams, Saints, Bears, Redskins, Panthers, and the Vikings. So, Prime, which NFC teams not on that list do you think could shake it up a bit?
Well, the Vikings are going to win that division. Chicago is going to be out, and do not count out those Philadelphia Eagles who won the Super Bowl a year ago. They're hitting their stride.
Wow, so 2 teams from the NFC East will make it into the playoffs. All right, forget the teams that would get a bye. So that's the Rams and the Saints. Which of those other 4 do you really think could make a run deep into the playoffs?
Cam. Whoa, Cam is balling for me. Hey, Carolina Panthers, what they're bringing to the table, the way Cam Newton is playing, if this defense can just hold on, if they can hold on, especially on the back end, give me a little pressure every now and then, this Carolina Panthers team can make a run.
Let's take a look at the AFC. The Chiefs will be the 1 seed, Patriots the 2, and then the Steelers, Texans, Chargers, and Bengals. So which AFC teams could mix that up a bit, Prime?
You know, Amber, when I was a kid, man, I used to ride the street bus in Fort Myers, Florida, and you had to pull the cord to get off the bus to let them know that's your stop. I saw A.J. Green get off with an injury. I'm pulling the cord. I'm off. I'm off with them Cincinnati Bengals. Let's take the Cincinnati Bengals out. Let's put the Ravens in. That's the way that's going to play out.
All right, putting the Baltimore Ravens in. I don't know about that after that Steelers game, but let's leave out the top seeds. Let's do what we did for the NFC. So you're taking out the Chiefs and the Patriots. Which of those other teams could make a deep run into the playoffs?
Hey, that Philly Rev, ain't nobody mentioning him about this MVP thing because Drew Brees got this thing locked and loaded. But Philly Rev, Los Angeles Chargers, the way they're playing offensively, defensively, and what they're doing, and man, let me tell you something. These guys here got a legitimate shot. Usually they have been falling apart by now, but they got it together. And I'm proud of them. Not only am I proud of them, they are balling. They are really taking notice in this AFC. Do not take these guys lightly because they can get it done.
They still have to face the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Steelers in the second half of the season, so that's a chance for them to really get a leg up in the AFC. Patrick Mahomes had another 3-touchdown performance on Sunday, so let's welcome in Maurice Jones-Drew to help decide which of the Chiefs' playmakers is most important to that offense. And I know that Maurice is going to say the running back. So, Dion, let's start with you.
Yeah, he's so predictable. I don't even know why you give him a turn right now. Let me tell you something. When you look at this offense, it's so many guys and he has so many weapons, but there's only one guy that cannot be replaced. There's only one guy that cannot be interchanged, and that's Travis Kelce. Let me tell you something. Forget the swag and the je ne sais quoi that he brings off the field and how he stunts coming to the game. This big fella cannot be rivaled in this league. The only one that you can compare him to is probably Gronk. But he can get vertical. He runs crossing routes. He can block. He runs the tough routes. You cannot deal with this guy one-on-one. And if anything shuts down on this offense, they can keep going. But if that guy were to get injured and get out of there, woo, baby, you got more problems than a math book because he is the difference maker.
Are you done? Is that so now we're at school taking math class. Well, I got some math for you, Prime.
Yes.
In that highlight video, we saw a negative 2-yard route go 60 yards. You know, that's one of the greatest investments in football where you can check the ball down to a running back by the name of Kareem Hunt, and he can take it to the house. Now, Kareem Hunt, not only did he win the rushing title last year for Alex Smith to help them get them to the playoffs, now, guess what they're leaning on him now? In the passing game. They're finding ways to get this young man the ball. Without him, there is no throwing it to Travis Kelce on play action pass. Without him, there is no single coverage on Travis Kelce on that touchdown pass. Without him and these magnificent runs, jumping over guys and doing all the great things, there is none of this excitement that you have. Not only is this young man a versatile weapon running the ball, he can do it in the backfield, catching the ball, coming out, playing wide receiver. Travis Kelce can't take a handoff. I've never seen him do it before.
Oh, yes, yeah, I've seen him do it.
When?
I've seen him take a handoff. I've seen him take a shovel pass.
That's
I've
a
seen him do a
shovel
whole
pass. I'm
lot of
talking
stuff.
about turn around and do this.
I'm not gonna argue with you about Hunt. Hunt is a straight-out baller, and I happen to love the kid.
Okay.
But you know darn well, Kelce is that guy. Now stop, man. You need to stop.
How about you guys stop and pick Tyreek Hill? I mean, this is a guy that can rip off a 75-yard touchdown. Forget your 60-yard play, MGJD. Kelce's never done that. He did it against the Patriots, so you got to give love to all of those playmakers. That's why they're balling right now. Moving on.
Yeah, Kelce's all pro. Not bad.
Oh, okay. Let's see what happens this year. There are a handful of teams on huge win streaks. The Saints have 7 straight. The Patriots and the Texans have won 6 straight. And the Chargers have ripped off 5 in a row. Which one of those win streaks, MJD, is the most impressive to you?
You know, I'm going to go all the way down to Houston, Texas. And I got to say, the Texans, we had all this expectation of them being the best team and this and that. And they started off 0-3, Prime. 0-3. They've won 6 straight. That is phenomenal. J.J. Watt starting the ball. Clowney's balling. Watson's balling. Hopkins is balling. They found a way to turn a negative into a positive and get that thing going. And it all goes back to Frank Wright. Frank Wright, you decided to go for it on 4th and 5 instead of just punting away and playing for the tie. You gave these guys a chance. Now they're running. I know what you're going to say, Prime, and I know the Saints fans are going to hate me. But we knew the Saints were going to be really good this year. We knew that. The Texans at 0-3, you thought they were going to be good?
I'm not going to start off with that. I'm going to get to that, but I'm not going to say that. What I'm going to say is, in that division that the Texans are playing in, hot garbage, they should have a win streak. They ain't playing nobody. But when those Saints go marching in, when those Saints go marching in, you want to be on that number. When them Saints go marching in 7. What about 7 straight? What about this team being dynamic as it is? I can't name a whole bunch of defensive players on the defensive side of the ball that's balling because they're not really balling on the defensive side of the ball. But they're suffice. They're sufficient. They're adequate. Adequate ain't going to win you a Super Bowl. They got to get better than that. But I love what they bring to the table. Baby, they got a full-course meal and dessert. I like the Saints go marching. I love it.
Hey,
and I love it some Sean Payton.
The Saints are marching in, but they need to look over their shoulder at the Panthers, who are marching in right behind them. I know they only have a 3-game win streak right now, but we should note that Cam Newton is having a career year. His numbers are comparable to 2015. What happened that year, you guys?
Super Bowl.
MVP.
That's
exactly.
Right. Uh-oh.
All right. John Harbaugh says they've considered giving Lamar Jackson an entire series to run the Ravens' offense. Prime, is that a good idea?
No, don't be playing with my emotions. See, I'm an emotional human being. I'm an emotional man. Don't be teasing me in the middle of the game. This ain't college football. You don't just take a $20 million quarterback out and put another kid in and let him play to get ready. Get ready for what? Either you're going to play the man or you're not going to play the man. Either he's going to be your starting quarterback or he's not. I'm not with that college stuff. I love Lamar Jackson. I think he brings a lot to the table. But when you throw him in there, leave him in there. Don't tease him because that's not fair to him or that's not fair to Flacco. Not one bit. I don't like the whole scenario whatsoever.
Prime, I'm not even going to argue with this. What I want to ask you, are you afraid of rats? Watch this.
Ain't that, hey, Mom. Oh, get that rat, Mom. Mom, get that rat out of here. I ain't crazy. Hey, Mom, I'm not finna mess with no rat. Hey, what? I thought we left this life. Mom, don't leave a rat. Mom, don't leave that rat right there. I grew up with rats, man. I grew up with mice, not rats. We had mice. We didn't have rats. We had mice.
Prime.
My mom is a real OG. My mama don't care nothing about grabbing no rat at no trap. She don't care nothing. Then she gonna walk out on me. She gonna leave the rat there. The rat's still moving. The rat's still alive on the trap. I don't like that, man. Snakes and rats, I can't do it.
Are you standing on the toilet? Are you standing on the toilet?
No. I was standing on this little bench that I have right in front of my tub.
Yeah. I get it. I'm not a big snakes fan, but I can handle rats. So anytime you got a problem,
I can't handle rats, though.
Call me. I'll come fix it for you.
I know Mama Prime. She was going to get something to come back and finish that,
right? Come over here and try to charge me $700 and she ain't done nothing. She ain't done nothing. How you gonna charge me $700? You ain't put a trap down. I told her to leave.
You don't need an exterminator. You got Mama Prime. She's pretty cool. Playoff Contenders kicks off at 8 o'clock Eastern right here on NFL Network, Fox, and streaming on Prime Video. The Steelers and Panthers have been fire, Prime, winning their last 7 games combined. So which quarterback is playing better football right now? Is it Cam or Big Ben?
Man, that's a tough one. I would go with Cam because the fact that Big Ben has more weapons. I know Le'Veon Bell is not present and accounted for, but that receiver core that he has, as well as the running game that he is equipped with, is unbelievable. Cam is doing this thing out. McCaffrey is undeniably one of the most talented players in the NFL, but what Cam is doing is rivaling his statistics and his whole attitude and je ne sais quoi that he had the year that he won the MVP. I love what he's doing with that football thanks to Norv Turner.
And more importantly, he's not turning the football over. Ben has 2 interceptions in that game-winning streak. All right, speaking of hot teams, nobody wants to see the Saints right now. They've won 7 in a row, and last week they knocked off the undefeated Rams. Next up, it's the 5-3 Bengals. Will Drew Brees and them roll over yet another winning team?
Yes, I really don't feel like the Bengals have the offensive power to keep up with them because they're going to score early and they're going to score often. No, their defense is not superb. We all know that. But they score at such an alarming rate. Is that the defense gets confidence. They may be up by 10, 14, and that gives guys confidence to try to make plays and not be afraid of not having plays made upon them. This Saints team is unbelievable. I just wish, I could say this 100 times, I just wish they would have went out and really got a bona fide cornerback on the other side to make things happen. It would have been lights out.
All right, well, the Rams, they will try to get back on track against the Seahawks, who staged a very notable comeback attempt that fell short against the Chargers on Sunday. Could this be a trap game for McVay's team?
No, the Rams don't play no trap. Last year, you could have said that, but this year, no. This team is poised. This team is understanding what's at hand. This team understands the possibility that they can actually get to the Super Bowl. They just got to play their game. This would not be a trap game for them.
All right, well, the Browns are hosting the upstart Falcons on Sunday. Atlanta is looking to win their 4th straight game. Are you going to let the Falcons back into your circle of trust?
I'm going to always love them. I'm going to always love them. I'm going to always love them. But I cannot open my heart right now to them because they've hurt me so many times. As soon as I want to let them back in, they just take me up and just drop me and then walk away from me. I'm not going to allow that to happen. They're going to have to build and earn my trust for now, but I love the way they're playing.
Always got love for the A. Always got it.
Hey, it was fun. It was unbelievable. Amber, I love you, girl. You know that. Hey, thank you for tuning in. See you next week on 21st and Prime.